What is good? Let's jump right into today's video. Got a great video for you guys. I'm sure a lot of you probably saw the title and thought, oh my gosh, what is he gonna talk about? How can I really get them obsessed? Can I get them back in 24 hours or less? No, listen, this video is gonna be on maybe 3 specific person issues I see in the community of manifesting when it comes to manifesting a specific person. So let's jump right into number 1. And number 1 is these clickbait video titles that I see on so many people's videos when they say things like manifest your person back in 30 days or less, manifest your person back in 24 hours, get a text message overnight. All of these clickbait titles. Listen, I want you guys to understand something. I know it sounds fancy. I know it sounds good. I know when you see a lot of these videos, especially to those that are new to the manifesting world and new to manifesting, trying to get a specific person back, whether new or old, I want you guys to understand something. These titles, and rightfully so by whoever the creators are, because titles are meant and thumbnails are meant to draw you in so that you can click on the videos. But understand, when you see these clickbait titles, essentially what you're doing is, it's no different than going to a fast food restaurant, right? You're thinking you're going to a fast food restaurant and you're thinking like that's going to satiate you, that's going to get you satisfied, but really it's not. And so when I see these clickbait titles, and when you see these clickbait titles, I want you to understand that this is no different than you going to a fast food restaurant to get your food. Yeah, it's fast, but is it as good as it could be? The answer, no. What is good? Slow cooked food when you go to a restaurant. That's what tastes the best. And manifesting, in my opinion, a lot of times is the same way. I understand a lot of you guys want your manifestations extremely fast, but in my opinion, it doesn't work well that way when you get a manifestation fast, because a lot of you guys have to understand, when you're in the process of manifesting something, what you're actually learning and going through in the motions is you're learning the time that it takes you to wait to get your manifestation, whatever that may be. If it is a specific person, everything that you're going through in between that time is building character. So you're building the mental toughness, you're building your character up to be able to withstand and deal with these trials and tribulations that may come or will come when you do finally get that manifestation, when you do finally get your specific person. And so when those trials and tribulations come, you know how to work through those trials and tribulations. You know how to keep what it is that you manifest. When you get your manifestations, especially when it comes to a specific person, too fast, when you get these things too fast, a lot of times people lose it again. And I know that's probably happened to a lot of you guys watching this video, is you manifested a specific person and you got them, but in 30 days, you probably lost them again, or in a very short period of time, less than a year, you lost them again. And you keep going through this perpetuating cycle of manifesting them, getting them back, or not keeping them consistently on some sort of time frame that you may have for yourself. And so please don't get caught up when you watch these clickbait videos, because this made me think about, me making this video made me think about my good friend Agnes Vivarelli when I saw one of her YouTube reels in regards to the YouTube reel said manifest a specific person in 1 second or less. And she was basically poking fun at this community when you see these kinds of videos saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna manifest my specific person in 1 second or less. Like, guys, you guys gotta be realistic with yourselves, right? You guys know damn well that there's no way impossible for 99.9% of the people to manifest their specific person in 1 second or less. Now, can some people manifest their specific person very quickly? Yes, they can manifest their person very quickly. I specifically have an EFT meditation that I sell, but I also have EFT manifest specific person videos on my channel. And I've had some people do that meditation on my channel and they were like, oh, I got a response from my person. I got a text message right after I got done doing it. So is it possible? 100% it's possible. However, what is likely to happen is the exact opposite. It is most likely that you won't hear from your specific person after you do one visualization. You will most likely not hear from your specific person after you do one meditation, or whatever the case may be, after you affirm for 5-10 minutes. This is not possible. So please stop getting caught up in all of these clickbait titles you see about manifesting a specific person in 30 days or less, or 2 weeks or less, or 24 hours or less, or 1 second or less. The harsh reality for most people is it's going to take time. The harsh reality for most people is we all have too many blocks. We all have too many subconscious blocks, and we don't have the beliefs that we need to have in order to manifest a person, especially in order to keep a person, because manifesting a specific person and keeping a specific person is 2 different things. Just like it's easy to go out there and find a girl, a girlfriend, or a boyfriend. It's easy to find somebody and get them attracted to you initially in the beginning stages, but keeping keeping that person, keeping them interested in you over a period of time, that's hard to do because over time, your flaws are going to come out. A lot of times you can pretend to be a certain way for a very short period of time, but the truth on how you really are as a person and your habits, your bad habits that you have, they will come out over time. So understand when you meet people, when you manifest people back into your life or you manifest somebody new into your life, a lot of times, as they say, it's your representative. It's their representative that shows up. You know, that's not the real them. It's their representative. But as time goes on, 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months goes by, 4 months goes by. Now the real person shows up, who they really are. And a lot of times people don't see that in the beginning. You know what I mean? So understand, you guys have to stop watching these videos thinking you're going to get your specific person back in 30 days or 2 weeks or whatever the time frame in the title says, because 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. And what you guys are doing is you're setting yourself up for failure, which brings me to my second point, which is having unrealistic expectations for when you're going to get your specific person back. You guys have way too many expectations, high expectations for the when, for the how, whenever it comes to manifesting your specific person. And it's okay to have expectations. You should have expectations, but some of your expectations are unrealistic, especially for when you see things like a person that's already married and you want to manifest them while they're in a marriage or while they're with somebody else. The fact that you think this is going to happen overnight, and I'm not saying it can't, but we have to look at the numbers. Statistically, it's not going to happen for 99.9% of the people. There will be that 1% of the population who can manifest somebody overnight if there is a third party involved very quickly for whatever those reasons are. But understand, the universe, for most of us, the universe does not work on our time frame. The universe has its own time frame, in my opinion, to where it will move the chess pieces for you to get what you want, because it takes a special kind of manifester. And most of us in this community, even your favorite teachers, even your favorite LOA teachers, whether they're popular, whether they have 1 million subscribers or don't have 1 million subscribers, even them, they struggle, or even them, they don't get certain manifestations overnight. Till this day, Abraham Hicks speaks about it all the time. She talks about, Esther, when she talks about Esther in the third person, even though she is Esther, she talks about Esther in the third person and says, yeah, Esther wanted this to happen, but then Esther had a bad thought and then such and such happened. So even somebody that's as spiritually advanced as Abraham Hicks understands that, there's ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows to this manifestation stuff, and most of us will not get our manifestations in the time frame that we want. Now, that doesn't mean you should give up and lose hope that you'll never get it. You just have to understand it's not the end of the world, that you're not going to, just because you didn't get it on your time frame doesn't mean that it's not ever going to show up. So you have to stick with it, be persistent, and understand that the universe at the perfect time, the right time, will show up and show out and deliver to you whatever your manifestation is, but it's only on its time frame. Like I said, it takes a very high level person to be able to start to control and manipulate reality right at the given time that you want it to happen, such as a Jesus in the Bible, or these other different manifestations teachers that at the sound of a hat, at the sound of a drop, they can literally do anything right then and there. But that's because they've trained themselves, they've got themselves to such a high level of manifesting, of understanding quantum physics and quantum jumping, etc., to where they can call things into existence very quickly, exactly when they want to. But again, it takes time, and we don't take the time to work on ourselves and to really study that type of stuff because we don't have the time. We're so busy with everyday responsibilities. And you got to think about the most people that ascend to this kind of level are the people that are most consistent with it. You think about in the Bible, just to reference the Bible, how Jesus left and went into the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights. You know what I'm saying? How Jesus, you think about in the Bible, how Jesus left and went into the wilderness and he did everything that he had to do to basically get into alignment. That's what he was doing when he went to the wilderness. He was taking the time to get into alignment, which again, most people can't just drop the things that they're doing in their life and go into the wilderness and just sit there and meditate and try to ascend to this high level, because we have day-to-day responsibilities. We have kids to take care of. We have jobs to go to. We have life problems that just pop up. So it's hard for us to, get to that kind of level of consciousness, and rightfully so. And don't be hard on yourself because, like I said, we don't have that kind of time to where we just drop everything and go away for a couple of months or however long and just work on ourselves. You know what I mean? And we have habits that we've created over the years, and then we're going to relapse back to those habits. So that's something else that I want you to consider and think about. So unrealistic expectations for when your person is going to come back, that's another major problem that you guys have got to get rid of, and understand that it's going to happen, but most likely it's not going to happen when you want it to happen. It's going to happen when you least expect it, but it's your job to continue to persist and to live in the end until you see the fruits of your labor, the mental labor that you do, not necessarily the physical labor, but the mental work that you do. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the reinforcement that you're doing to yourself, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. And this is a big piece of the puzzle right here, because I want you guys to understand something. We live in this 3D world that we all see, and the 3D world has such a major influence on us and the decisions we make, the actions we take, etc. And so it's only right, and I completely understand it and don't judge anybody from getting caught up in this 3D world, but you have to constantly ask yourself and look in the mirror and have these conversations to say, what am I listening to on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? What are my beliefs about men? What are my beliefs about women? And I think this is something that a lot of us don't realize. A lot of us subconsciously have a lot of negative beliefs, and a lot of us are constantly taking in and reinforcing negative beliefs through a lot of these podcasts on YouTube. I know a lot of you guys know about a lot of these dating podcasts on YouTube, these relationship podcasts from whatever the community, the red pill community, blue pill community, feminist community, all of these different communities out there that are telling men and women different things. These podcasts that some of these women may have talking about men and talking about how men are shit, men ain't this, men ain't that, men are dogs, men are pigs, men are trash, you know, happy wife, happy life, you know, men's feelings don't matter. Vice versa with men. Men on podcasts talking about how women are nowadays, how women are doing scandalous things, how women are, you know, using the system to their advantage and doing all of these negative things. Like, you guys gotta ask yourself and remind yourself, what are you reinforcing about men and women? Because if you're watching these toxic podcasts talking about how bad women are or how bad men are, you guys gotta realize that you're unconsciously developing these beliefs about men and about women. And guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna subconsciously attract those types of men or those types of women based on your beliefs. If you guys are constantly listening to music that talks about how men aren't shit or how women aren't shit or how you don't trust women or whatever the case may be, if you're constantly indulging in conversations with your friends, going out to restaurants or doing whatever, talking about how you can't trust men anymore, men are this, men are that, these are affirmations that you're literally speaking into existence about men, about women, about everybody. So I highly encourage a lot of you guys to look at what you're listening to. What kind of podcasts, what kind of TV shows are you watching? What kind of movies are you watching? What kind of reinforcement are you constantly giving yourself? The negative feedback you're giving yourself about the opposite sex or the same sex if you're in those types of relationships. You guys got to understand, you cannot serve two masters, kind of like the Bible says before, and kind of like what Neville talks about, you know, serving two masters. You have one foot in the physical world, then you have to try to have one foot in the spiritual world. And this is why results a lot of times fluctuate, because you don't have both feet in the spiritual realm like you should. You have one foot in the physical world, which is this 3D, and then you have one foot in the spiritual realm. And it's hard to manifest and it's hard to consistently keep what you want when you're living that way, which is why it's, like I said, it's hot and cold. You get the ebbs and flows, but understand that it takes you have to have an honest self-assessment with yourself. Are you watching these dating podcasts? Are you listening to the music? Are you watching these movies? Are you watching these TV shows and getting negative reinforcement about men? Where did your beliefs come from about men? Where did your beliefs come from about women? I think this is a serious topic that needs to be discussed and talked about more in this community, because you don't realize the type of garbage and trash that you're feeding your mind when you buy into these negative dating podcasts talking about how trash men are or how trash women are, how you can't trust relationships nowadays. Relationships are so bad, women are sneaky, men are sneaky, nobody's faithful. Like, these are all affirmations that are constantly being programmed into your mind, and it's doing so much damage. It's making so many people lose so much hope, which is why it's important to get off of that type of stuff and to feed your mind with real information, like videos that I'm making right now to help you guys get inspired and stay inspired. Because the truth is, there's a lot of great people in this world. There's a lot of great men in this world, and there's a lot of great women in this world. But if you stay on the internet and you watch these podcasts and you read comments and you look at all the negative stuff going on in the world, it's going to allow you to come down to a vibrational level of fear, which, if you guys know about the vibrational scale, everything is on a vibrational scale energetically, and fear is one of the lowest on a vibrational scale. It might be the lowest, but fear on a scale of vibration is extremely low. And you're bringing yourself down to that level when you constantly watch these videos and you let it affect your mood for the day. You make it think like, oh man, there's no hope for me. Dating sucks. You know, you start saying these affirmations. Dating sucks. There's no good men. There's no good women. I can't trust. I'll never find love, you know? And so that's why I wanted to hop on here, make this video and share these 3 tips with you guys to remind you guys about, you know, these mistakes when it comes to manifesting a specific person, because these mistakes I see happen on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis when I work with people and when I'm just doing my own research. I want you to understand how toxic these 3 situations are that I've gone over in this video today. So to recap, clickbait videos, stay away from these clickbait videos, and don't think you're gonna get real results from watching clickbait videos that say things like, yo, I'm gonna get my ex back in 24 hours or less. No, you're most likely not gonna get your ex back in 24 hours or less. That's a harsh reality you need to face. Lastly, having unrealistic expectations for when you should expect your specific person to come back. Don't have unrealistic expectations. Have an expectation to get them back, but understand, let the universe do what it does, and you work on yourself and you elevate yourself. Because when I see these videos talking about get them obsessed with you, get them that, and people click on those videos and they start to have a high unrealistic expectations based on the video that they watch, that just shows me that you still value your specific person over yourself. That shows me that your self-concept is extremely weak and you still have a lot of work to do on yourself when you watch these videos talking about get them obsessed over me in one day, and then you set these unrealistic expectations of really trying to get them obsessed in one day, and you do affirmations for 5 hours straight and then you don't see any results, and then you give up and you think, oh, manifesting doesn't work. No, manifesting always works. Manifesting is always in action. Law of attraction, law of assumption is always working. You're just using it the wrong way because you're impatient. At the end of the day is what it really boils down to, right? And lastly, like I said, reinforcement about the conversations and the friends you're around and these podcasts that you guys are watching, these dating shows, etc., because this stuff is extremely toxic and extremely detrimental to your process as a manifester, because it will make you lose hope. You will get sucked down a hole and you will start to lose faith and think that there are no good people in the world, when the facts are there are a ton of great people in this world. Men and women on both sides. Men and women. This is not about gender. This is not, oh, men are more trash than women or women are more trash than men. No, it's about what you are attracting. If you have these beliefs, like I've been saying, that men are trash, men are pigs, you can't trust them, they're not faithful, you're going to continue to attract that. You're going to continue to attract that. So you gotta stop saying these affirmations about men or about women and stop looking at them that way, and ask yourself, do I need to stop listening to these podcasts? Do I need to stop listening to these dating podcasts with women where they just get on, they just bash men? Do I need to stop listening to these dating podcasts where they just get on and they bash women? You know, you guys are, a lot of the damage you guys are going through is self-inflicting. You're doing it to yourself. Literally, you're doing it to yourself. Don't blame them. Don't blame them over here. Look in the mirror. That's who you blame. The person you see in the mirror every day, that's who you blame. And understand, as Neville says, everyone is you pushed out. So until you change your self-concept, until you stop saying those affirmations of trying to get people to be obsessed with you, which again shows me that you have low self-esteem, that you need to go out and get people obsessed with you and make people obsessed with you and do that type of thing, your problem. Marginal. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to click the next one, because I'm sure you'll enjoy that one too.